Good afternoon, my name is Lim Hong Yang. I'm from Section 9 Group C. So our group presentation topic is about topic 3, specimen preparation and meteorography of steel. So introduction. In this experiment, we learn about proper preparation of meteorographic specimens to determine microstructure and content. So there are a few steps here. The first one is sectioning, mounting, coarse grinding, fine grinding, polishing, etching, and also microscopic examination. So number 3, specimens must be kept clean and procedure carefully followed in order to reveal accurate microstructures. So number 4, meteorographic examination. In meteorographic examination, we examine about brass, steel, or aluminum sample. Additionally, we also examine a steel, brass, or aluminum sample with different composition, a eutectoid steel sample, and a eutectoid PBSN sample. So, for experimental theory, the first one, meteorography is a study about constitution and structure of metals and alloys. Much can be learned through specimen examination with the naked eye, but more refined techniques require magnification and proper preparation of the material's surface. So the third one, for general purpose examination, we use optical microscopy, but for advanced examination and research laboratories, we have to use electron microscopes, X-ray, or electron diffractometers. So incorrect techniques may lead to inaccurate microstructure and conclusions. Number 5, hot or cold working can occur if the metallurgist is not careful. Number 6, micro inspection can be done by using naked eye or microscope with low magnification. Number 7, micro inspection can be performed at higher magnification to observe finer microstructure. The inspection can be done by using optical microscope or electron microscope. So there are few types of microstructure in carbon steel, which are the first one, austenite, carbon solid solution in phase center cubic iron. The second one is ferrite, carbon solid solution in body center cubic iron. The third one is cementite, Fe3C, intermetallic compound of Fe3C. The fourth, pearlite, exists as grain, often termed colonies. Number 5, bainite. It consists of ferrite and cementite phases. Number 6, martensite. It forms when austenite iron carbon alloys are quenched to a relatively low temperature. And the last one, spheroidite. The Fe3C phase appears as sphere-like particles embedded in a continuous alpha phase matrix.
Assalamualaikum and good evening. My name is Muhammad Farouk bin Musa from Section 9, Group C. So I will present about the percussion. There is 5 percussion and I will take 3 important points. The first one, the flow of water for grinding process was adjusted to control rate so that the water will cause a spray when it contact with sample from grinding process. Next, the sample were washed and dry using compressed air to clean the debris produced after polishing process. The next, the sample were grind and polished with the correct technique so that they have a good and flat surface and can be seen easily during microscopic analysis. This is the experiment equipment with metal specimen, hot melting powder, grinding and polishing machine, etching solution, mounting machine, furnace, and optical microscope. So this is the experiment procedure. For hot melting, hot melting was used according to the standard procedure. For grinding, firstly the specimen was identified after label. Next, the tap water was opened and the flow of water was adjusted. The specimen were drawn in one direction to perform manual fine grinding process across the surface of the water lubricate abrasive paper. Next, the progressive of grinding was determined by lift the sample from the sandpaper. Next, the debris washed from sample by using water and the specimen is dried immediately using pressurized air after all the sample stretch are parallel. The next is the next step was process to 320, 40 and 600 grid stage with the stress oriented approximately perpendicular to the intended grinding direction. And the next step and the step 3 through 5 was repeated. Last one is the polishing was ready after 600 grid stage was completed. Polishing. Nylon close polish with 25 micron. The tap was turned on to control the water. The tap water was adjusted. Next, small amount of the aluminium oxide abrasive suspension was applied to the polishing close. Next, a moderate amount of pressure was applied and was held properly. The wheel was covered after polishing is complete, and the last the specimen was dry and rinsed. For etching process, the specimen was immersed 5 seconds into neutral solution. The next specimen washed under running water and dry using compressed air. For microscopic analysis, the specimen was placed on the stage on the surface, and the surface was perpendicular to the optical axis by using microscope. Next, the lens of microscope were used to reveal the image of microstructure of specimen. Each of the specimen were labeled clearly, and the image of microstructure were captured for every specimen. This is the image of microstructure. Thank you.
My name is Muhammad Firdaus bin Supardi. I am from Section 9, Group C. I am here to explain about result and observation of our experiment. During this experiment, we have done a microscopic analysis on the sample of the metal. For the result, we got 6 different microstructure. For the sample 1, we got coarse perlite, while for the second sample, we got fine perlite. Sample 3 and sample 4 have the same microstructure, which is martensite, while sample 5 is tempered martensite, while the last sample, which is normal carbon steel. During this experiment, we observed a lot of things. The first is we found that the surface of the specimen become shining after polish and grinded. The second observation is different pattern of microstructure was observed during this microscopic analysis. The third observation is we found that the pattern of the microstructure become clearer when being seen under high power of microscopic magnification. The fourth observation is we found that the surface of the sample become darker due to the grinded process took a long of time. And the last observation is we found that the surface of the metal also become darker due to the reaction of chemical, which is acidic solution, with the metal surface in the etching process. That's all for result and observation.
My name is Mio Amirul Muhammad bin Hisham. I'm from Group C, Section 9. I want to talk about the question for this experiment. That is, why metallographic sample have to be rinsed and carefully dried before proceed to grinding or polishing process. The sample may affect by the abrasive, whatever abrasive. This could be causing oxidation or passivization layers, could affect or polishing or etching process. Easier, we call that will be rust, or it will affect the microstructure when we see in the microscope. And then explain the purpose of etching process for metallographic sample. For the etching process is for to revealing the microstructure of this sample. And when we see in the microscope, when we doing the etching process, we will easier the view for the microstructure in the microscope. Also, it can also view the grain size, the shape, or the detail of the microstructure. And the third one is why some of metallographic sample have to be mounted. So the metallographic sample have to be mounted is for polishing is the best done or machine mechanical hold or apply uniform motion. So this this sample must be mounted so the easier the viewer to see the microstructure when we see in the microscope. And then at room temperature, what is the phase of the eutectile steel? at the face of utetroxyl, the phase diagrams say iron carbide, and solution of iron and carbon. In real life, they may also be metastable phase depending on cooling rate. The second one, what are the constituents of eutectonic steel? Eutectonic steel is the stage in the carbon carbide diagram is where this contain complete pure light in its microstructure. It become pure light. It will become the pure light in the microstructure. The third one is what are the phase of the hypereutectonic steel? The phase for the hypereutectonic steel is ferrite and cementite. The fourth one, what are the constituents of hypereutectonic steel? The constituent for hypereutectonic steel has less than 0.8% of carbon in its composition. It is compounded by pure light and alpha ferrite. So we go to the discussion. So we have three discussion. That is, the first one is the light can reflect better on the surface of the sample after polishing. So the polish process is important so we can reflect better on the surface, so we can see more clearly on the microscope. The second one is the pattern of the microstructure of all sample become more clear when observing. The pattern of the microstructure become more clear when we doing this process lah. When we doing the grinding, we doing the etching, we doing the polishing, and we see in the microscope lah. So it will easier the way we see the microstructure on the sample. So polishing remove the damage remaining from the previous step. So polishing will remove the damage from previous step, that is grinding or whatever we doing before that. So polishing will clean up the sample and easier the viewer of microstructure. And also the fourth one we see when we doing the grinding, if we doing the grinding is too long, it will affect the microstructure, that it will become more darker. As you can see in the report, that the microstructure will become more darker when the grinding process is too long. And also we observing that the microstructure we need to be adjusted perfectly on the microscope, so we can see the microstructure of the sample become more clear and more clear lah, more clear. That's all from.
Okay, my name is Movavi. I'm from Group C, Section 9. Okay, I will explain about conclusion, recommendation, and reference. From this experiment, we can conclude there is many procedure and steps that need to follow accordingly to the guides given by the report's guidelines. This process must be repeated a few times because we need to ensure the microstructure of the specimen is safe. This experiment use an acid because it will remove the debris of that. After done mix surface of specimen with acid, we need to use a microscope to find the image of microstructure. Every sample show a different kind of patterns. Recommendation. In this experiment, the obtained result may not be as accurate as how the preparation of the heat-treated sample has been done. The reason that affect the experiment result is there are some specimens that still have numerous scratches on its surface, thus it blocks the original pattern of the microstructure. As we already know, non-smooth surface will cause the light to be bent, thus produce different microstructure and affect the microscopic analysis. Therefore, the experiment should be repeated by ensure the scratches of the surface has completely removed in order to obtain more accurate result.
And the last reference. First reference, we took Metal Handbook, Volume 8, Metallography, Structure and Phase Diagram. Second is Modern Technique in Metallography, Butterworth, London, Brondon, 1966. Third is Practical Microscopical Metallography, 4th edition. Fourth is Interpretation of Metallographic Structure, Academic Press. Fifth is BDA 1701 Engineering Laboratory, 1st edition. That's all from us. Thank you.